Yeah, how you doing, everybody? It's still the 7th of January 2010, and what I want to do is I just want to continue on that the last little post that I made about little bastards that Nick posted up, and he was asking for responses. And the only reason why I responded to it because I had raised the thing in the first place and he mentioned it, so I just thought it would be some people's advantage if I sort of put my little hypnosis word in. So you know, in dealing with sort of like one of the little micro elements of society, I want to talk about the it's not a new order. It's not like really overturning society. It's just basically social reformation. It basically is, and it's not revolutionary thought or anything like that. It's not storming the barricades or anything like this. But I just want to talk about it, okay? And in order to talk about it, I've got to talk about we've got to go back to basic economics again. The way it is in modern Western society, and also, well, certainly society we know, this is the way it works. You've got capital, you have labour, they come together, and in coming together they either produce something or refine something, and they produce a product, and the product is sold, and then when the product is sold there's profit left within the sale element of it, and the profit goes back to the person who's the capitalist, right, who's provided the capital. The worker basically gets just enough to survive so that he can produce the raw material. Alright, that's essentially what goes on, essentially what happens. Alright, he does not share down the line in the eventual profit. Okay, now I know what's going to be said. I take all the risks, the capitalists say. I take so that's another day's work, and I have to go into that in a separate video because I can't deal with that here and then deal with what I want to talk about. What I want to talk about is nothing to do with that. Alright, it's an element of capitalism I want to talk about. So what I want to talk about is, I want to talk about, is it possible to be a capitalist? Alright, and you know, to offer social cooperation to your workers rather than have them socially alienated. You know, is that possible? Is it possible to do that? Alright, and that's where I'm coming from. Look, the way it is this. As I've told you before, wealth is produced two ways. Capital, labour, they either take raw materials and produce a product, the product sold, or they take a product, capital, labour, they take a product that's already there and they refine the product. It could be an intellectual product. It doesn't necessarily have to be a real product. Do you understand? But they add wealth to it by processing it and they sell it on. So those are the generally accepted two ways within capitalist society to produce wealth or profit out of a business, out of an industry. Okay, that's generally the way it's accepted. Okay, now I hope this doesn't sound like I'm postulating or lecturing. I don't mean to be. It's just I'm trying to get all this stuff done. But you keep running out of bloody time with these things. Look, I don't want to deal with the risks that capitalists take. I'm going to deal with that in a different thing. So all I want to say is, at the moment the capitalist system has all sorts of guarantees put up. Now we have inherited 400 or 500 years of contract law through the British system. We have British law in place, and it's essentially Roman, English, Norman law. If you think about the steps, Roman, then the Saxons, and then the Normans, and we inherited those three steps in our law system. Do you understand? And for 400 or 500 years of statutes under mercantile English law, they have a thing called contract law. And all of those laws are set up in favour of the capitalist. All of them. Tens of thousands of them. Okay? Are all in favour of capitalists. Now in the 20th century, just in the 20th century, and in the 21st century, we have another set of laws called labour laws. And they're to balance those out. Okay, but they're only like a small number of laws in comparison with what has gone before, but it doesn't matter. At least they're trying to balance the whole issue. Alright, so but it doesn't matter. In the main, the whole judicial system is set up to maintain the thing whereby the money goes back to the capitalist, because at the end of the day, within the capitalist society, money takes precedent over labour. That is at the core of all capitalist thinking, apart from consumerism. At the core of modern capitalist thinking is the concept that capital is king. Capital takes precedent over labour. You've got to keep saying that over and over and over again. I made a little postulation in the last thing about the fact that when you go to court, you could offer up labour as an offering against indebtedness. It'll never be accepted, because that would turn the whole concept, the capitalist concept, on its arse. Now, within the whole concept, and one of the main reasons, just before I leave that, one of the main reasons is because imagine you turning around to the likes of judges and lawyers and turn around and saying to them tomorrow, oh, we can't pay you for your services, all we can do is offer you labour. Don't think I would go down too well. Some of these lawyers earn 10 grand a week, 10 or 15 grand a week, 20 grand a week. A lot of these judges, these senior judges, earn about half that amount of money, 5 to 8 grand a week. I wouldn't go down too well. It's not going to happen, but I'm just, you know where I'm coming from. No. So the bottom line about it is, for the foreseeable future, it's going to remain that way. That capital money takes precedent over labour, and it's set in stone. That will require a revolution to change that, a serious revolution. But all I'm posing is a small social change, and it's already been enacted. Personally, I witnessed it in several companies in Ireland with my little experience, all right, of workers and seeing them working and been employed in happy conditions. And the first one I want to quote is Guinness's, and the second one I want to quote is Bewley's in Dublin, and the third one I want to quote is Jacobs. Now, I'm sure there are lots of people out there tell me, no, that's not. Look, these companies have survived for a long time. Now, I know that Bewley's gone out of business, but that's nothing to do with them. Their lineage died out. They've just gone. That's it. And but I don't know whatever happened to Jacobs. I don't know. But while they flowered as capitalist entities, they did look after the interests of their workers. That's all the point I'm trying to put across. And Guinness's, until they were bought over by Diageo, had that concept. And it's a liberal Protestant concept that comes out of 18th century French thinking. Alright? And it's based around social cooperation. It's not revolutionary. There's no Trumbles coming down the street and chopping people's heads off. That's all I'm posing. Social cooperation. I personally have seen it with friends of mine who employed people. One in Francis Street 20 years ago, who employed the most disenfranchised people in the area, who was a well-beloved man because he did it. And out of the profits that he made in his company, he employed about 28 people who were some of the lowliest people you could imagine. He treated them openly and fairly and equitably, and twice a year they got bonuses from his company, and I mean reasonable sized bonuses. And the bottom line about it was, he was well beloved and well considered. Now, isn't it better to be that way and work about social cooperation than to be some sort of a person going around? Because there are the other flip sides of the coin. People who only employ people for the minimum, the bare minimum, who hate their workers, despise their workers. And the bottom line about this is that comes out about because they don't want their workers to become articulate or educated or know their rights. So you know where I'm coming from on this. I don't want to go on about it. The bottom line is either social alienation or social cooperation. That's what it's all about. None of this is rocket science. To me, this is dead simple. If you want a sustainable company, if you want a sustainable capitalist company, then you've got to embrace social cooperation. That's all. It's very, very simple.